Welcome to the Habits and Hustle podcast, a podcast that uncovers the rituals, unspoken habits, and mindsets of extraordinary people. A podcast powered by Habit Nest. Now here's your host, Jennifer Cohen.
When I was reading your book, I will tell you something. I felt your pain because a lot of people don't know this actually, but I used to be in the music business. I used to be a marketing executive for BMG years ago. That's how I started everything. But then I left. I went into the fitness business, and I actually would train a lot of their young artists like you. So I felt your pain, girl. Like I felt it when I read it.
I'm sure that you have a lot of stories, and you know what it's like. You know the crazy part of our industry, and a lot that goes unsaid,
Absolutely.
It's hard. Obviously it comes with such incredible opportunities and amazing highs, but there is so much that one goes through in this business.
Absolutely. And I will say, you have to be somebody who has to, if you don't have a thick skin going in, it's really hard. I mean, there were a few of these girls that I used to work with who I love to this day, who were quite frankly some of the most talented, like your voice is amazing. Some of these girls were like, oh, beautiful. Like there's a girl that it was like, they said that she was going to be like the next Whitney Houston, and she was like amazing. And she kept on getting signed, and then dropped, and then signed to another label. Then her entire 10 years was like a roller coaster without making any music, really. It was just, that's what happens.
Yes, it's so crazy because this business is so unpredictable. And, as you read, I had, before I got my big break, so many years of being in the business and being in Hollywood, pounding the pavement, recording with different producers and songwriters, and kind of just doing what I could. And, you have these high hopes, and, you go after these things. And I tried to, I had the dream of pursuing a label and of getting signed one day. And, things didn't work out the way that I wanted or had planned. And then X Factor came along and changed my world. And then even during, X Factor and Fifth Harmony to now, it's just all so crazy and such a journey, such a whirlwind, so many ups and downs. You do have to have a thick skin. I feel like I did not actually have a thick skin coming into this, and now the business kicked my butt, girl, and I now have a thick skin.
I was going to say, if you didn't have a thick skin, it's now created like a super thick skin, because you have to. And it's funny because it's like the most sweetest, kindest, gentlest girls who have like voices of angels I would meet, and you would see what was what the business kind of did to them. It was like heart wrenching, right? And it wasn't always the most talented that became the most successful, obviously.
No, it's crazy. Right? And it definitely is a weird formula how it works, and it's unfair a lot of times, and it's unjust a lot of times. But continuing to move forward and to persevere and to not give up and to continue to fight is how I ultimately got to where I am today. And I'm finally living out my dreams. It's funny because some people are like, or in the past have been like, why are you so happy, or why are you so positive? And I'm like, because I know what it's like to go through hell and have made it on the other side. And, that's why I smile, and that's why I give and I love, because when you go through such tragedy and such obstacles, you really appreciate the now so much more.
Absolutely. I want to even start with that whole journey for you, the rise to fame, so to speak. Because like you were saying, there are so many years that people didn't see that you were trying and struggling, going through the music business and the record labels, and like all those, like the the behind the scenes, even before behind the scenes, so to speak, that you were kind of you know what I mean, before even. And I'll tell you this, I actually remember seeing you on the X Factor audition. I remember, and I was like, your voice, when you went up and down and like that long string of that long note, you crushed. And and then, no, you're welcome. And I remember like that whole, how it must have been for you then as trying to be a solo, being put into a group, like that whole process. I'm really curious how it all kind of happened. So start from the beginning. Like you were now, the floor is yours, Allie.
Oh, okay. It's been such a journey. You know, I had this dream since I was a young girl. 9 years old is when I absolutely fell in love with music and performing, and it changed my whole life and my whole purpose. And then I worked so hard, you know, with my parents. I performed around San Antonio, my hometown, for so many years, and then 12 years old, back and forth from LA to San Antonio, trying to make it, you know, trying to get a record deal as a solo artist. So many years of hard work and determination and pushing through every day and every challenge as a family, trying to get by. You know, doing so much in between, performing at schools, performing in front of 5 people, in front of 30 people, performing wherever I could, and not being signed, not having a budget, all this stuff, man. And then I get my big break in Fifth Harmony. On X Factor. And I didn't even want to audition. I was like, my mom encouraged me, and she was like, Mama, you know, what do you have to lose? And I'm like, Mom, I'm so scared of going on a reality competition TV show. I'm scared of failing in front of people. I'm scared of getting rejected. I'm scared of what could happen on a TV show. That's not part of my plan or something that I expected because it's so unknown. I was just scared. But my mom kept pushing me. And finally, and it's so funny because the stories in the book really, you know, add so much more detail. This is kind of just it in a nutshell. But I remember watching the X Factor, the first season, with my dad, and I loved it. We loved that it was new, it was innovative.
Right.
In a group, you could be over 40 years old because they had an over 40s category.
I remember.
Yeah, you could rap. So it was really diverse and interesting. But I never thought of auditioning for myself. And then fast forward a year later, again, my mom hears it comes to Austin. She's like, you should do it. I'm like, no, kept putting it off. And then finally, I actually did it. And I sent in my audition. My parents went to Costco, and I always love Costco.
Yes. Best place ever. I still love Costco, by the way.
Yes, same. My parents still have their, you know, the same exact location in San Antonio. And I was so mad because I was missing out on going with them. But it's so funny. And then I auditioned, and I said this prayer. I said, God, if this is not your will, please, by all means, close the door. I was telling him what to do. And then I just had a serious moment and a really deep moment. I just said, God, if it is your will, then please open the door. And then I pressed send. And that email and that prayer changed my life forever. And then I think it was only 6 days later, I got an email confirming that, congratulations, you're invited to the auditions, the televised auditions in front of Simon and Brittany and everyone. And I was like, oh my gosh, my whole world just changed. And little did I know what lied ahead. And again, auditioning as a solo artist, I make it to boot camp, and we're on the final day of boot camp. And I make it through all these rounds, and there's so much going on happening. And then bam, they call me to the stage and say, you know, I'm so sorry you did not make it. And I was just completely heartbroken. But then they announced, like, attention everybody, can I please have the following people come back? And I prayed that one of those names was my name. And it was. And then I had no idea what was going on. I was like, oh my gosh, am I going to have to rap? Because there's rappers in this. Am I going to re-sing? What on earth is going to happen? Then Simon places me with these other girls, and we're all together. And all of a sudden, he said words that changed everything. And he said, you as you are going to the judges' homes. And we became a group in that moment. And it was like, whoa, I was so unbelievably excited and grateful to have a new opportunity at my dreams. That moment, I ugly cried. I such a high jump that you can see, like if you YouTube, it's there. And I was so excited at the chance of again having another moment to pursue my dreams. Then it hit that it was a girl group, and I'm like, okay, God, this is not part of the plan at all. You know, I worked my whole life towards a solo artist, and now this is happening. Okay, but man, it totally changed my life. And I remember calling my mom, being like, Mom, this is what happened, and she was like, Mama, trust it. Trust God. Simon knows what he's doing. He's formed one direction. He's formed so many careers. Like, just trust him. I feel that something amazing is about to happen. And little did I know, you know, and then obviously I was super happy and excited and grateful and all these things. But it became Fifth Harmony.
Wow. I mean, so like, how did it emotionally, when you guys were all put together in that day or time, it must have been so many different emotions though that were running through you, like all of you guys. Like, did you guys already like have some kind of rapport doing that whole experience together with auditions? Like, did you guys know each other already from that whole experience?
What was crazy was no, we didn't. We were strangers, and we were thrown in it so quickly, so rapidly. And because like boot camp and stuff was so, oh my gosh, it was grueling, and it was so, every minute was so much tension. We didn't really get a chance to get to know each other, and there's hundreds of people there. So that was tough. So literally we were basically strangers when we all formed as that group. It was exciting, but it was also like, what is about to happen? You know, who are these girls? What's their story? You know, are they nice? Like, are we going to get along? And they were younger than me. They're like 4 years younger. And is this going to work? Is this a crazy idea? All of these emotions were happening, you know, oh my gosh, I get another chance. All of these things. It was crazy.
So then what happens like from the day, okay, so X Factor is over. Now you're in now you're in this group, you know, Fifth Harmony. What's like, walk us through like day one. Like now you're a band, right? Like now you're signed to Simon Psycho and to Epic Records. And like you guys have like girls have, it's complicated, right? Because there's a lot of personalities. There's a lot of like different insecurities that naturally girls go through.
Yes. And that was really tough at first to navigate, you know? And
yeah.
Then we, oh my gosh, do you mind if I'm going to plug this in. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good.
That it's almost out of battery. I apologize. Hold on. Give me 2 seconds.
You don't have to apologize. This happens to me all the time.
Real life. Hashtag 2020. Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. Where are you anyway? Are you at home or?
Yes, I'm in Los Angeles at my home. And I actually just got back from Georgia. There you go. Okay. Hopefully this works. Is this okay?
Absolutely. Yeah, I love this.
There you go. Real life. Sorry.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. No, it's true. Hashtag real life. Exactly.
Totally. Okay. So after X Factor was coming off of this high, we made it all the way to the finale. We got a fan base. We really had people behind us. The potential there was crazy. It was screaming at us of what we could be. And the X Factor actually wasn't wasn't, it was not a fun experience for me. As you
Right.
read the book, it was really hard because my identity slowly from that moment became lost. And it was hard balancing a role in Fifth Harmony, trying to be, I was the oldest one, so trying to be a leader, an example, and grateful and kind, but also battling, hey, I'm not getting like any lines in our singing, and or not many. And, balancing those emotions, not feeling good enough. And that all kind of circled to my childhood, as you read before. So that was tough, but I was praying that after X Factor, we would get a new start and things would be better. And so after X Factor, we got signed, and that was just exhilarating. And then we started working on our first album and our first songs, trying to find that right single that would put us on the map as a group and identify who we were as Fifth Harmony post X Factor on our own. And I was hoping that it would be, different. But when we had our first single, I was so sad because I only had one line and one ad lib, and I was so embarrassed. I remember feeling so embarrassed and just kind of trapped. And I tried to talk to our manager, and she tried to make a call and make it happen, but it was just too late. So right off the bat, that was really tough, having these hopes of, okay, I'm past X Factor, it's going to be different now. Then you're again doing everything that I wanted, was signed, had a big old team behind us. We had agents and managers and a label, and then that happened. That was really tough. But eventually, after a long while, things did get better.
So, I mean, I want to talk about that because I think that it's important for people to understand, like you were saying at the beginning, just us about having a tough skin and having other people kind of like form your identity, right? As you're a young girl, and the other girls, like you said, are much younger than you, right? And what that can kind of do, and to your self-esteem, really, right? Especially in time of cyber, you had a lot of. Let's talk about that. Like it was, it's hard. You have to have a lot of resilience. Is something that comes to mind, right? Like you have to kind of fall and keep on getting back up again and smiling and pretending everything is fine.
Yes, and that's actually a title of one of my chapters. I think it was called "Knocked Down, Getting Back Up." And that's kind of the theme of my life, honestly. And in Fifth Harmony, that was that. And, the hardest part for me was losing my identity, losing who I was, number one, in the music. And number two, just how even I was presented, the makeup that I had, hairstyles, the wardrobe, it was all kind of being dictated for me, being told, hey, this is for you and you can't pick anything from this rack, or I'm sorry, you can't have this color of lipstick or this hairstyle because she's in a ponytail or she has curly or whatever. And it's like, it was so hard to balance. And again, as a young woman, someone who's worked at this dream for a long time, trying identity and presentation is everything, because you're like, I can't wait to one day have a team where, hair and makeup and I just can wear what I want. And it wasn't like that. And then when I would speak up, some of the stylists and some of the hair and makeup people were just kind of rude and degrading, and several times would just say, you just got to be grateful to be here, or no, like that's not for you. You can't have that. Or because I would ask for a different makeup look or hairstyle, they would just kind of say like, I'm sorry, no, like you've got to just get what you get. And that was so hard because all these little things added up to who I was and who I was to the world. And then to make things worse, on social media, people would say, Allie's the worst dressed out of everyone in the group, and what is she wearing? And she looks terrible. And it's like, you have no idea what I got through just to even get on that carpet. But for them, you to confirm my fears that I don't look my best. It was painful. It's very tough.
It is. And how did you deal with it? Like, because that's like people get upset on a very micro level, right? When they get like a bad comment on their Instagram, right?
Yes.
You're having to go out there. I read in your book a piece of when you were doing a video and you gained some weight and you weren't really comfortable with your body, and you had to go out in a bathing suit, and it took a lot of courage. And by the way, it takes a lot of courage and guts for like a regular girl to go out without cameras around them, right? So to go do, you know what I mean, without a paparazzi, and then getting the paparazzi or the comments online about how you look, and you don't look the right part, the bathing suit's ugly, you're overweight. It's crushing to a soul.
Man, you said it. It was, man, it was horrible. And again, so much had happened. That was towards the middle, I guess, of Fifth Harmony or middle endish. And, I'd gone through all these challenges and obstacles, and then dealing with my personal life too, worrying about my parents and my mom, dealing with her health problems. And all of this added up. And there was a lot going on behind the scenes that was just awful. And at that point, I just felt like completely lost and so insecure. And I felt like I couldn't trust anyone, and all those things, but still having to go out there and get up out of bed and to show up on the carpets and the videos and interviews and just smile. It was rough. It's rough for anybody. And I'm emotional and sensitive, especially at that time I was. And so all of it just felt like the weight of the world was on my shoulders and everything around me was just spinning out of control. So to be at that place where I'm on the beach filming that music video for Flex, I'm terrified of how I look and not feeling my best. Then people around me say, no, you look great. Oh, you look amazing. Then I find confidence. And that took a lot for me to find just an ounce of confidence. And I felt good and I was proud of myself. Like, yeah, Allie, you went out there, you owned your body, you owned yourself, and you worked that camera. I felt that moment of pride. And then just shortly later, after we finished filming, I opened up social media, and there were these really unflattering photos of me, and they were everywhere. And people were just blowing me up, saying how ugly I looked. They were calling me fat and saying that my body was not okay and that I just looked terrible, poor girl. I mean, all these things, it wrecked me. It completely wrecked me. And how I dealt with that, I think at that time I logged off of social media for a few days, but I really just cried my eyes out. And I had to dig in deep to my faith, what God thinks of me. He says I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. And I had to try to believe that, and calling my parents, my mom encouraging me, my friends encouraging me, people praying over me. And then also seeing that love there too from, our fans who came to my defense and other people was really amazing. And again, it was hard to really kind of recover from that. It took a long time, and there are still little lasting effects, that even today, sometimes I'll be like, remember when they said that? And then I kind of double think and double check in the mirror. But I've gotten so much better at that and so much stronger. And I have a community of people around me, a team who loves me and supports me. I'm now on a healthy workout regimen. Writing helps me to conquer my feelings and my good days and my bad days. And just being surrounded by good people and all this love and finally accepting myself. And also being in a world of 2020 where now all different types of body shapes and sizes are being celebrated. That is what helped. All of those things is just amazing.
So yeah, I totally understand and I agree with you. Not to jump back and forth, but I wanted to ask you earlier, and I didn't want to cut you off, about the image you had in your mind before you became famous, and then when you became famous and all the things that were kind of coming with it, like we were talking about the behind the scenes stuff, all the different like things that were going on, how are the two different? Like in your head, before this all happened, what was the image that you thought when you would become a pop star, the dream that you had?
I kind of had on rose-colored glasses. I didn't really understand, and I guess I was a little naive. I didn't understand how corrupt the entertainment business is, and how people they don't have good intentions all the time. They want to steal from you. They want to hurt you. Sometimes they just want to abuse their power and make you feel less than in order for them to feel, in control. I didn't understand that a lot of what happens, there's a lot of like favors that need to be done that you're like, wait, I have to do this in order to get someone to like me and to support me. Why can't I just do it organically? And just kind of all the different steps. I didn't understand that. I mean, I've heard stories, but being in it, people are cruel in this business, and so for my image, when I was younger, I thought, oh my gosh, you get signed, you record the songs of your dreams, everybody loves you and believes in you, you put out a song, and then you work hard and you create something amazing, you get those hits, and you are traveling the world, and people are for the most part kind and behind you and there for you and supportive and caring. But it kind of all comes not easy. I wouldn't say easy, but I just thought it was a little bit more, there was more of a healthy system, if that makes sense.
It makes perfect. Give us an example of something that happened that you were like completely like just totally shocked about.
There was a lot.
I know.
Well, I mean, I wasn't prepared for example, I talk about in my book, this executive, hey, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
I wasn't prepared for this executive. He was so inappropriate with me. He made me feel safe. I was going through a lot and I was seeking help. And there was a lot happening in the group. And so I just needed someone from the outside to give me perspective and advice on how to handle some of these situations and maybe see if they could step in. I don't know. And he invited me out to lunch. And again, making me feel so comfortable. And then when I get there, one of the first things he does is hands me this thong, which is super inappropriate, and was like, hey, you look really good in this. And I was just like completely humiliated and let down and embarrassed and ashamed. But I also couldn't do anything about it because, I mean, what am I going to do? Like, say something, tell on him. At that time, you hear things about people, they're kind of just brushed off, if that makes sense. So there was never any consequences to those actions. And sadly, with a lot of people, during that time, if you didn't engage with that behavior, they would try to harm you. They would try to blackball you or make sure you don't work or lie about you. And so I was terrified that this person would do that. And then another time he texted me and he invited me to his hotel room, and I knew where that was going. And that really confirmed that this person did not have good intentions, that he was trying to do something really awful and disgusting that I was not comfortable with. And I was so fearful, again, that he would lie about me or tell my label something, and the label would try to screw me over even more. And it was just awful. But thank God, well, as far as I know, I mean, that happened in a way, but it didn't really happen the way I thought it would. And that person is not really working in the business anymore because that person had some allegations against him. And so did this other person. So that is like, justice in itself.
Yeah.
But I'm so grateful that I had the tools to stand up for myself and say, I'm not going to accept this behavior. I may not feel comfortable or safe yet to tell anybody, but at least I know that I can stand up for myself and pray to God that, nothing happens and not accept that behavior. And for me to share that and to tell other women that, hey, you can do the same thing. You don't have to be scared of them or what they're going to do. And especially now, people are there are consequences with that type of behavior. That's what I want to do, is to alert people, to alert women, and say, hey, this happens, so just be careful. But no, you don't have to accept it. And then also say that it's possible to overcome that.
Did you ever come forward ever and tell anyone about him?
No.
Once it was already, so like this whole thing happened to you with the thong and him texting you, and then you just brushed it under the carpet and let nature take its course, so to speak, and things happened to him anyway, right?
Yes.
But you never, even when he got caught for other people, did you say, hey, you know what? There was also, you never said, hey, it was me too, he did this too, or no, right?
My team. So I told, I think everything came out once and everyone went solo. So I told my team, and they're like, wow, like that's awful. That's disgusting. I'm sorry that you went through that. But for me, that in itself was so much justice and what I prayed for, and it's hard because it's like, obviously, God says to forgive, but it's like, I want this person to not, like, I don't think it's right if this person moves forward in life if they're doing all this stuff. And so again, having that person, get caught and have those consequences was at least some sort of relief and made me feel so much better.
Oh yeah, it's so creepy too. Like what was that?
I said, if that makes sense. It's kind of a weird psychological.
Oh, it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. What I find so weird is like, what moron gives a girl like a thong at lunch? Like, it's so creepy.
It's creepy, and that's how confident they were to knowing that, I can do this and nothing will happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
nobody
exactly.
Nobody's going to punish me. Nobody's going to bring me down type of mentality. It's awful.
The arrogance, it's awful. The arrogance is terrible. It is. Oh, wow. So, okay. So then going from then, when you guys were kind of like growing, and then you hit like, you were kind of growing and growing, and then work from home came out, and it was like massive, right? Beyond. Was it beyond like what, like 2 billion, like, I don't know, whatever, like views, or is that what it is? Yeah.
It's crazy.
And crazy. It takes you to a whole new level. Like, talk about how that went. Like, how did it change? Did it change the dynamic in the group? Did it become more competitive when you became that big? And like, talk about that whole transition from, being working and being known to then like hitting it like out of the park.
Yeah, a super smash. So our first big hit was Worth It, and that changed our lives.
Yeah.
But work from home, man, unstoppable. That's the biggest you can get. It's one of the biggest records that decade. Wait, because we're in 20. Yeah.
We're 2020. It was 27. When did it come out?
16. So 2000.
Yeah.
Yes, 2016. And
right.
Again, like, we worked so hard and we went through a lot, and I think we had like just a few days off in a year, and it was a lot. But when Work From Home came out, man, it was insane. Just things at that time we had new management, our new team, and a lot was happening and circling. And it was tough balancing that immense success, but also balancing just like all the chaos, a lot of just chaos that kind of came with that. I tried my best
Like what?
to stay rooted. There's a lot from the industry and like different like whispers and scenarios happening and people's like intentions not being good and motives being not good. Without going too deep into it, that was really tough, and not being able to trust people even more. It's like you're at the top, but it's like you're still not satisfied or fulfilled. It's a weird thing because you really do picture it one way and then it's another. And again, I mean, that's what, it's probably because of being in the group and, having, whisperings and stuff from your label and from your management and from the agents. And, that was what was challenging about it. But, I overcame it and I tried to take it for what it was. And I tried to still enjoy us traveling around the world and us being on the biggest award shows and stuff. But it was.
Yeah, like as a young girl, that's like super cool, right? Like you get to do all these things that you never thought.
World. Yeah, you get that. And again, you take that. But it's hard when you have certain distractions. And you can't, I don't know, just all the anxiety that comes with fame, and then the pressures of people telling you what to do and who to be, and it's a lot. It wasn't what I thought, but again, I attribute that to being in a group. You're not your solo artist, so you can't make all the sole decisions. You can't say, hey, I want to do this music and I'm comfortable with this lyrics and I want to do this video. It's so many chefs in the kitchen. So
I can't even imagine, I know how it would be just with one person and all the different people yapping in your ear about how you should look and dress and feel and do this and not that. Then you have like a bunch of girls together. I mean, like, and then like the competitiveness, I'm sure, between and the personalities. I mean, did you guys have like was there someone in the group that you were super solid with?
I tried my best to be like the mom of the group and be there for everyone as much as I could. So that's what I kind of held on to, so that was kind of my experience, but I loved I loved what I did, and I loved being there in ways that I could, and also trying to balance my own inner issues and stuff was tough.
Absolutely. Tough for anybody.
Yeah.
Then when you went from now you're in a group, and then you transition. Let's talk about the transition from now a girl group, then going into being a solo again. And again, you have to like it's like your work ethic has to be. I think there's a big thing here. You're very hardworking, right? Because you have to you're constantly hustling, struggling, kind of like going and going. You have a very strong work ethic, regardless, right? You have to go through this.
Totally. And also another thing is too, before we all decided to part ways and stuff, or before the group expanded. The last year was something that was really great. I think that was one of our best years for sure. We got to write so much. We got to really just connect in a lot of different ways, me and the girls. So I do want to note that we definitely had, something that we'll have forever and I'll cherish forever. And I wrote something at the end of With Harmony in my book about, we went through so much together, and I hope that one day we do end up, who knows, we may end up on a big stage again one day, and I'll always have love for them. So I want to make that clear. I think it was hard in a lot of moments. And, but I definitely
You made that clear. I saw that. Yeah.
I definitely had some really, really nice moments with all of them at different times. It was hard to kind of fully be 100% for everyone when you weren't even 100% with yourself. So I want to make that clear.
No, I know. I mean, it is clear. I mean, I just think as a girl, right, as women, my point was it's difficult with groups of friends. Never mind being a group of girls who are traveling the world together with a bazillion people telling you how and what to do. I mean, that's a lot.
Yes, and you totally get it. And so now transitioning from Fifth Harmony to my own thing, I was so sad at first. I was not ready, and I told the girls, I was like, "No, I'm not ready. Like, we have so much more left to do. Come on, let's rally together." But there's a lot of obstacles in our way. We had heard from our management that our label was not going to support another album. And, it was a possibility of, okay, we have to go search other albums and all that. So I did have to understand that. I was mad and I was sad, but I also had to ultimately respect the group's decision. So once I got past that, all of my emotions just surged towards, oh my gosh, this is the beginning. My life's about to begin. I'm going to pursue the dream that I've had my entire life, being a solo artist. And that was the most phenomenal feeling in the entire world, because now I had a platform. I had fan base and opportunities and connections, and I knew all the writers and producers, etc. And now I just take that and put it in, take it on my own. Was incredible. So that moment was just, wow, it was powerful.
Yeah. And then but let's talk about how it wasn't like everyone was telling you it was going to be easy. And you had to then have the resilience and relentlessness to go through that process.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So I had to really, right off the bat, have the right team around me. And it took a while. I went through a few different managers because, you have to, it's like dating, you have to meet someone, tell a whole life story, and then see if it works out. And it doesn't always, and that's how it goes. And by the way, my previous managers all ended, on a great note. So it's not like anything terrible happened. So once I finally found the right team, well, at the time I was, meeting with all these labels for the first time. And I was told by one of my managers at the time that, girl, it's going to be so amazing because you're coming from the biggest girl group in the world. You have all this success. You have so much incredible talent. You're going to have a bidding war. They're going to be offering you deals left and right. And I was like, wow, really? Oh my gosh, this is the dream. This is wow. This is, again, I worked so hard toward this for my, entire life. And then I went on these, I went to all these different label meetings, and they weren't as I don't want to say easy, because it's not like I was expecting it to be easy, but I was expecting it to at least be a little easier. The room sometimes was a little like stiff, and sometimes meetings were super quick, and it was very like, okay, what's your name? How are you doing? What's your songs? Tell us about your artistry. And I'm like, okay, and the energy wasn't right in some of the rooms. And I guess I just expected a little bit more excitement in a way, and like respect. Like you came from a girl group for so many years, and you made it, and you made it in so many different ways. What's up, Allie? We're happy to have you here. One of them actually was like that, and it was incredible. But a lot of the other meetings were harder. And then one day, my manager Will,
he's still your manager, right?
Yes, he is.
Yes. Okay.
He has to be together. He has seen it all, girl. He
Oh, wow.
will one day. So the hardest part was being told that all of the labels that I met with said no, they passed, they rejected me. And I was completely devastated. I mean, oh my gosh, I'll never forget sobbing on the floor, kneeling down in agony and being mad at God and saying, why? I already went through all this in my childhood. I already went through all this in Fifth Harmony. Like, you think that maybe you could give me something here? And, it was a lot of pressure from the press and the fans who innocently would ask, where's your music? Who's your label? Everybody else had announced their labels and all this pressure. And then bam, like, you don't even have an option, was awful, awful. And I had a moment of just crying out to God saying, why? But in my tears, Will was there to encourage me. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't even tell my parents. And that was even worse because I'm holding in that secret. And again, they worked their not their whole lives, but a lot of their lives to support my dream. And I want this more for them than me. Well, obviously I want it for myself, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I want to bless them and like give them that good news after, sorry, my voice cracked, that good news after all this crazy things, all this crazy stuff we've been through. So it was horrible, but I had a moment, and at the time, Jesus Take the Wheel by Carrie Underwood was just in my heart, and I had chosen that to sing at this event that I was singing at. And I just literally prayed like, Jesus, take the wheel of my life. I have no direction. I have no hope right now. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'll be able to make music again if I don't have a label. Please help me. And then he helped me. It was very sad and alone. I was not in a good space for a long time. But then he reopened one of those doors, and that was with Charles Chavez, which was Latium Atlantic. And I signed to them, and my whole life changed in that moment. It was just sensational. You can imagine.
I can. I mean, you've done so much. I mean, you've lived like 5 lives in like a very short.
Yes, you get it. You get it. People are like, why did you write a book so young? And just like you said, I've lived 5 lives. But again, I made it through it all. And I made it through the storm. And I'm here with my head tall. And I'm living out my dreams. And I'm here to tell someone who feels like I did. Maybe they feel like that in the industry, or they feel it in school or in their current job or whatever it is. I just
you know what? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, I just want to share that message that you can overcome even more than you could imagine. And you really can live out your fullest life. We'll have moments of crying on the floor. And there may be many moments of that as I encountered, but you can thrive in your life. And there is hope. If there's anything I want this book to leave people with, is that there is hope.
I love that you say that because, your book is called Finding Your Harmony by Allie Brooke. And I get why you wrote. I mean, listen, I think that it's, I understand why you would want to write this, because I think there's a lot of valuable, like you said, a lot of valuable information for a lot of women, young girls who are not just curious about the evolution of what happens in a career like yours, right? Because people have big dreams, and it's you're shining a realistic light on what happens, which I think is important for sure. But more of that, not only can you survive, but you can thrive if you hold on.
Yes, that's exactly it. That's exactly the message. And again, like being that voice for that little girl or that mom or even that grandma, it can apply. My story can apply to so much. And I even open up about so many things in my life, my personal life, there's a cancer diagnosis in the family. My mom's scoliosis, dealing with that. My mom not having a relationship with her dad, her whole life and his whole life. But without giving it away too much, as you've read, miracles happen, in life, and things that I didn't even think were possible. It's beautiful. And I know a lot of people need that, especially now.
I think that's beautiful. I think it's also, you never know where the road takes you, right? I mean, like with Fifth Harmony, there was a lot of things about it that were difficult at times, but it gave, like you said, it opened up such a world to you that it gave you so many other options that you would never have known of. Like now you did Dancing with the Stars, you are doing a movie, it's like you have to kind of be open to any opportunity and walk down that road.
Yes, that's what I did, and again, even in the moments when I wasn't, or I was scared, having that team of people around me to push me and to speak some life into me and some truth into me, man, that has helped me and shaped me so much. And for a long time, I didn't feel like I had that community of people who I knew were there through thick and thin, whether I wasn't with Harmony or I wasn't, or whatever. Just having that also changed it. And in moments I did have a period where I'm like, man, I'm not finding my right circle of friends yet who I can trust and who don't want to use me to get to someone or use me to try to get, a meeting with this person, or being able to just trust them with like certain things in my heart or that I'm going through. But I finally found that, in my team, but also in my friendships. There's so much I uncover in this book and so many different topics. So that's awesome that you recognize that. Thank you.
No, you're welcome. I thought like even is very courageous. There's courage because you went on a show, Dancing with the Stars, and you talk about this in your book a little bit. Like people online would be like, you're the worst dancer, you don't know how to move. And then you went on a platform to dance. You know what I mean? And it's like, and you overcame. I think you overcame something. It's very courageous because, like that again, it's like a difficult thing to put yourself out there in a way where people are criticizing you, and you're like, you know what? I'm going to try it. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to overcome it, and I'm going to show them I can dance. And you were good.
Yes, thank you so much. It's crazy because they asked me like multiple times, and the first time I said no, because mostly I was super scared of exactly what you're saying. They're calling me the worst dancer. I'm going on Dancing with the Stars, and I'm probably going to make a fool out of myself. Nope, I'm too terrified. Sorry. God, they asked me again. And my team and my parents said, Mama, I think you should do it. This is going to be an awesome opportunity to, one, be part of a show that you're a fan of, but also to show people who you are, your heart, and also to challenge you to become a better dancer. And then I got a lot of advice too from my friends. And I was scared and I didn't want to do it because I was nervous that I'm going to embarrass myself and I'm going to confirm that, oh my gosh, you can't dance. But I did it anyways. And with the strength of that encouragement and that love and that positivity, I was nervous, I was fearful, but I chose to do it anyways. And it led to one of the greatest experiences of my life. It was so special and magical and fun. And like I say in my book, I entered like a little cub and left the show like a fierce lioness. It was incredible. And again, even if you're scared, still walking through that door and still saying yes, it can lead you to an amazing part of your life.
Absolutely. Like were you always this way? Were you always very, like resilient like this? Were you always this, you seemed like very ambitious and driven. Was that always just your personality?
Thank you. I don't know. I guess so. My parents say that, so I guess I've always
Yeah.
I've always dreamed big, as a young little girl, and that's really thanks to people like Selena. I would watch her music videos and her interviews and her movie countless amount of times since I was a baby, literally. And I think just seeing her, someone who also looked like me, a Mexican American woman from Texas, just a few hours away, was beautiful. And I got a lot of my hope from her. And then my parents were always so loving and encouraging and kind, and taught my brother and I to dream big, but also to work hard. Nothing's coming easy. Allie and Brandon, you got to work hard in life. My parents worked hard. They came from poor backgrounds. My dad, as I write, he sometimes, the kid, did not have a bed. He wondered what utility bill would be shut off. And my mom, she shared a bed with like 7 of her sisters or something like that. But they worked hard to get where they were and encouraged us to do the same. So I think having that foundation really helped to get me to dream big and believe in my dreams.
Yeah. And believe in yourself, even with knockdowns like that, to get back up and try again.
Yes, that's right.
Who are some of your other role models that you look up to besides Selena? I know also Gloria Estefan, also you mentioned.
Yes. Oh my God. I adore her. Man, talk about someone who's a fighter and someone, she has an incredible story of, the record label told her and Emilio Congo would never be a hit, to change this, and that. They said, no, we're not changing a dang thing. And one of the biggest songs in music history. And they're pioneers, and they are givers, and they are dreamers, and they are philanthropists, and he has the Medal of Honor or Freedom, or one of those. They're just an unbelievable level, and they're also one of the kindest human beings on earth. So I really get inspired by people like them. And also Gloria has a kind of similar story to my mom, as far as, she had a horrible accident that broke her back,
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
She fought every day, and they told her, you may not be on stage again. She every day worked hard, and she got on that stage. And that's similar to my mom. My mom's a fighter, and trying to search for a doctor and being discouraged. She found one years later that helped her so much. But I love Gloria Estefan, Jennifer Lopez, huge inspiration. Carrie Underwood, as you read. Shakira, Adele, Bruno Mars, Justin Timberlake. I'm drawn towards entertainers and singers and just really wonderful artists, people who are not afraid to be themselves and who have made their own lane.
I'm telling you, if you were to put a picture beside you of J-Lo, with like looking like how you are, you guys look identical. You look like a little J-Lo.
Thank you,
I don't know.
girl. I wish. But
no one said that to you?
you?
No one's ever said that to you with your hair like that and the little bun?
They do. They actually do. They have said that a lot of times, especially when I have my bun.
Yeah.
I definitely take that as a huge compliment. She's such a queen and just flawless. I wish I was half, even an ounce.
Well, I'm telling you, wear those, you're welcome. Wear those hoops and your bun, and you're like mini J-Lo.
Oh my God. Thank you so much, girl. Best compliment.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I have one more question for you, because the podcast is called Habits and Hustle. We know that you have a lot of hustle, girl. We know that. What are some of your daily habits? Are there things that besides, I know that you pray, you seem to be very religious. You pray a lot. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. I need to because life is crazy, so many ups and downs. But I also pray for a lot of other people too, my fans, my friends who are going through things, praying for health, safety, all those things. But besides that, my habits every day. Well, when I'm not working, I've really discovered the gift of writing your feelings, writing your thoughts. Obviously, I wrote a book.
Yeah.
It's so, hey, um,
Yeah. Love it.
it's a powerful tool. You don't have to be a writer. You just write your feelings, write your thoughts. Or, me writing songs is such a powerful tool. Also, what else? Me talking to friends that fills me up so much. FaceTiming, phone calls. Also, I love looking at like interviews of people that I admire, not just singers but also actors. I absolutely love Gal Gadot. She's one of my heroes for so many reasons. Also, I love Margot Robbie. I love The Rock. I wrote about him in my book.
I saw. Oh my God. You and 200 million other people who follow him love him.
Right? I love Dolly Parton. So kind of listening to their interviews and what they have to say and how they navigate through life has been really awesome. I love spending time with my cats. I love being on the couch, sipping coffee or tea, and having quiet time and just reflecting on life or praying or writing. And when I love to run because it gets me to a whole different space in my head. Listening to music, even just like movie soundtracks or classical music, it'll just cleanse my mind. So there's a lot of different things that I do. I also love to cook and bake and watch movies, watch film.
Wow. What's your favorite movie or TV show right now? You watching something like a series right now?
Oh my gosh, I am so behind. So you mentioned earlier, I actually just got back from Atlanta, Georgia, because I was filming my very first movie called High Expectations. And it was
Amazing.
such an incredible journey, such a gift, such light. Oh my gosh. I wrote a whole Instagram post about it, so you can see that and see all the beautiful things that came out of that.
Well, tell us, how did that even happen? How did you even get that opportunity?
Wow. Well, I've been going on auditions for so long now, as you see in my book, since I was 12 years old. And
Yeah.
I got a role, not just a role, but a dream role because of the script, what it's about, because my character, who she is. And the producer, he had me in mind. He kept asking me to audition, and I didn't hear about the audition until the third time. It was kind of a crazy thing that happened. And I met with him in Miami while I was rehearsing for my Time to Shine tour in March. And I ironically did the interview so I met him in person, but the actor and the director were over Skype. Little did I know how significant Skype would be in 2020.
Right.
It's life now. And anyway, so that's how I got the role. I auditioned over Skype. And I met the producer / writer in person, and it was remarkable. And then now we filmed during this time. It's just crazy. But we became such a family, and some of the greatest people I've ever met in my life were on that set and a part of it. It really did change me and was such a huge gift. Oh my gosh, it was unbelievable.
Wow. When is it coming? What do you know when it's going to be scheduled to come out, or you don't know yet?
Not yet, but I heard possibly spring 2021. We'll see what happens. But definitely, sometime in 2021. I can't wait.
Amazing. And how about your tour? Is it now because it's been put on hold, right? Because of everything?
Oh, yes. Obviously I'm at a much better place now, but I was so devastated. Ugh. Again, once you see everything, you see what I went through to get to that point, and then bam, it was kind of taken. But I'm grateful that I did at least 4 shows, and I showed the world what I'm about. But so unfortunately, We don't have really a date or a timeline of when concerts would be back. I heard possibly summer. We shall see. We shall
I know. I hope so. I mean, well, right now people can read your book, Finding Your Harmony. It's a really nice read. And you're so welcome. And we all know how to find you, but just kind of give us all your info anyway. Because if people want to go dig deeper into Allie, where would they go?
Yes, so you can follow me on all social media at Allie Brooke and follow me on Spotify too and YouTube. Also, I just came out with 3 new songs. My new single is called What Are We Waiting For? And it's with Afrojack. You can check that out. I had another feature come out last week called Gatekeeper with Fed the Grand. That's really fun. And then today, I actually just came out with my very first original Christmas song called Baby, I'm Coming Home. So please check all of that out. I know we all could use some Christmas spirit right now. I hope you guys love it. So follow me everywhere.
Awesome. Well, it's been really nice talking to you, Allie. And I can't wait to listen to all that new music and see you in a movie.
Thank you so much.
Habits and hustle, time to get it rolling. Stay up on the grind, don't stop, keep it going. Habits and hustle, from nothing into something. All out, hosted by Jennifer Cohen. Visionaries, tune in, you can get to know them. Be inspired, this is your moment. Excuses, we ain't having that. The Habits and Hustle podcast, powered by Habit Nest.